The following is a brief presentation on how to integrate Amazon Alexa with SnapLogic. So what we're going to go through first is an understanding of SnapLogic. So what we've got here is a pipeline which hopefully some of you will recognize that accepts a parameter which is SFObject, and depending on the value of that parameter it will route to particularly taking data from Redshift and pushing it to Salesforce in terms of leads, in terms of opportunities or accounts. So depending on the value which is coming into the pipeline, it will route accordingly. Okay, so it will either load leads, opportunities or accounts into Salesforce. So really straightforward pipeline. You've got the pipeline parameter coming in. It's doing a Redshift select, on this case leads, but in the other cases opportunities or accounts, and then it's pushing those leads, opportunities or accounts into Salesforce. And you can see here in my demo account for Salesforce that at the moment I've got no lead showing here. So that's the first part of my demonstration. Now if I flip over to Manager, then once I've actually created my pipeline, then I've also created my task as well. And if I come over to Amazon Alexa, then you'll see that I've got my task here. And as some of you know, this task, this is the URL that if I wanted to run that pipeline, I would have to invoke this URL, and we can come back to that one in a second. Now if I subsequently now go to Amazon Alexa, so if we go to the developer console at amazon.com, then if I hit on the Amazon Alexa tab, then what you'll see is that you've got the ability to create a skill. Now the skill that I've created is Start SnapLogic API. And this is almost a wizard. It kind of guides you through creating this skill. So the first thing you have to do is actually put the name of the skill here and then the invocation name. Now this is important. Now when you invoke the skill, when you kind of talk to the Echo Dot, then you'll have to actually say a phrase which takes you into your particular skill. And in this case I use the term SnapLogic. Now once you've invoked the skill, then you've got the ability to actually invoke different parts of that skill, and these are called intents. Now for each intent, so you can actually see here that I've got two intents here. So I've got the integrate Salesforce intent, which is called Salesforce update intent. So I could say Amazon Echo Dot ask SnapLogic to integrate Salesforce, and then this curly parameter, these curly brackets contain a parameter, and that's the real key here, because I'm parameterizing the skill when I'm talking to my Echo Dot to say that integrate Salesforce with leads, with opportunities or with accounts. So this is the ability, the really neat ability in the Amazon Echo Dot to actually pass in a parameter. And this second intent is just a test voice control intent. So you can see here that the intent is the actual Salesforce update intent, but the actual parameters in Amazon Echo Dot skill creation are called slots. So I've created a slot here called SFObject type, and the values of SFObject type can be leads, opportunities, accounts or test. So I'll probably explain that really badly, but in principle you're creating a parameterized skill which you can hit, and in this particular case I've got leads, opportunities, accounts. The next one is configuration. So this is the real key. So once I actually invoke my skill, then what do I want to do with it? Well, I want to hit some code which is going to wrap up my SnapLogic API hit and then parameterize that URL such that it's invoking the right API with the right parameter, and it runs my pipeline and delivers that information back to Salesforce as I expect it to. And in this case, what I'm going to use is AWS Lambda. So AWS Lambda, for those people that haven't played with it before, is a really neat way of spinning up a small server which runs a particular function and then spins it down. So it's a very kind of a really neat way of running some code in the cloud, and that's what Amazon Echo Dot integrates with by default, and that's what I've done. So I've created my skill now, and also I've given it the function to run in terms of AWS Lambda. Okay, so now if we go to AWS Lambda, so this is my kind of AWS Lambda skills. You can see the function start SnapLogic pipeline, and what I've done here is that I've created a URL. I created a constant, which is a Salesforce URL, and it's the URL that I showed you in SnapLogic. But at the end of it, I've parameterized it to say that if the SF object which is coming in is leads, opportunities, or accounts, then just have the base pipeline here, and then you can fill in the rest later. So what it does, it comes into this intent, so it's using the Salesforce update intent, and if the value which is coming in is leads, then it adds leads to the URL, runs the URL, and then finishes off by telling me Amazon Echo Dot will kind of say this statement. If it has opportunities, it will say this statement. So it's telling you that it's run the pipeline, and subsequently we'll see that information go into Salesforce. So you can see I've got some error messages here as well. I've got all these skills, and it's hopefully going to run those pipelines. So now, if and also I can share all this code with you on request. So if you come back to me, I am happy to share this code with you. So now, if we go, I've got my Echo Dot set up and ready to go. So now, if we go back to SnapLogic and open up the Dashboard tab, then you'll hopefully see that at the moment there's no kind of invocations of my task. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my Amazon Echo Dot right here, and let's see if we can hit that pipeline. So Alexa, ask SnapLogic to integrate Salesforce leads.
Updated Salesforce with Redshift leads.
Okay, so if we just refresh this page now, then hopefully you'll see that the Salesforce, there we go. That's the pipeline which was just run. And if we go to completed and look at pipeline parameters, then you'll see leads. The pipeline is run with the parameter leads. That's pretty neat. And if we now subsequently go to my Salesforce demo, then leads should have been put in there, and you can see that the leads have been populated. So it's now from Amazon Echo Dot, it has actually hit the pipeline with the right parameter and subsequently taken those leads from Redshift and pushed them into Salesforce, and that's pretty neat. Now, just to show you that wasn't cheating, Alexa, ask SnapLogic to integrate Salesforce opportunities.
Updated Salesforce with Redshift opportunities.
Okay, so you can see that the second one just ran there, which was just a second later. And if we go to completed, the pipeline parameters, you can see opportunities has come in as a parameter. And finally, Alexa, ask SnapLogic to integrate Salesforce accounts.
Updated Salesforce with Redshift accounts.
So if we just give it a second, then hopefully refresh that page. Just to kind of let it come back. Then you can see that the third one has been run. And if I go to completed and pipeline parameters, because I've been capturing this parameter, you can see it's coming as well. So it's a really neat way to get Amazon Alexa integrated with SnapLogic. Because of that really straightforward way to generate URLs in SnapLogic, it's really straightforward to integrate with tools like the Amazon Echo Dot and integrate your world in a very straightforward way. Thanks for joining me, and speak to you next time. Thanks, bye.